In this video, we will demonstrate the data validation rule, which is a great feature in Microsoft Excel. You would want to use data validation to restrict the type of content or data that can be entered in any cell or range of cells in your spreadsheet. In order to do this, select the cell to which you'd like to apply the rule. On your ribbon, choose the Data tab. In the Data Tools group, there is a Data Validation drop-down. Select Data Validation, and the Data Validation window opens, giving you 3 tabs of information that you may supply. The first is the Settings, and this will show you any type of data or content that is already allowed in that cell. The default is to allow any value. Click the drop-down and you can see the different types of content that you're allowed to create a rule with. Whole numbers, decimals, lists, dates and times, length of text, and custom. For date, you're able to enter a start date and an end date. For time, you're able to do the same, enter a start time and an end time. For whole numbers and decimals, you can enter minimums and maximums. We'll choose, for this example, a list. There are 2 checkboxes already checked. The ignore blank, meaning no error message will appear if there's nothing in the cell or entered. And then in cell drop-down. What this will do is create a little drop-down menu, sort of like this, on the right side of the cell. In the source field, you would enter your list of allowed content. I'm going to enter some names here, separated by commas and spaces. Click the Input Message tab. Here's where you could apply a message that will appear when the cell is selected, maybe giving them some instructions of what to do when this here. For this drop-down list, we won't use this, but this comes in handy for when it's restricting certain date ranges or time ranges. You could enter a message letting them know to enter a date between May 1st and July 31st. On the Error Alert tab is where you would select the type of error message that will appear when invalid data is entered. It's already checked to show the error after the data is entered. You can leave that checked. And then here are your different types of error alerts. You've got a stop error, which will prevent them from going any further until they cancel and re-enter valid data. The warning error will warn them that they've entered invalid data. So will the information error, but these 2 will allow them to keep that data. For our example, we'll use the stop error. You can give a title. We'll simply call this salesperson error. And here's where you would enter a custom message to your user upon entering invalid data. If nothing's entered here, the default message will appear. We'll give them something a little more. You've entered invalid salesperson. We'll click OK. Now you can see on this cell the drop-down arrow giving us the option to choose either of those allowed names for this cell. To copy this rule to the other cells in this column, we would simply use the autofill feature. Drag. See, on each cell, you now have the ability to select from the drop-down menu. If a user tries to enter text other than what's in the drop-down menu, hit enter. This is when on the list rule, you will get the error message of retry, cancel, or get help. And cancel will give them the option to choose a correct content from the list. This has been a brief video about the data validation rule in Microsoft Excel.